Okay, good morning, everyone. My name's Stan Cordena. I'm the Vice President of Surface Systems from General Dynamics Mission Systems. Great to be down here in Rhode Island and really proud to be part of the board for SENEDIA. So far, a number of great speakers, and I'm sure the last couple will not disappoint. Great venue going forward. So proud to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Marie Bussiere. Ms. Bussiere is a member of the Assistant Secretary of the Navy Research, Development, and Acquisition, Chief Engineering Team supporting Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy Research, Development, Test, Evaluation, Strategic Goals, and Objectives. Ms. Bussiere provides technical and management direction of senior scientists, engineers, managers who perform and manage science and technology and RDT&E for Navy digital transformation to maximize agility, interoperability, reusability, scalability, across the enterprise. She provides senior level leadership to transform the culture and workforce to adopt tools, processes, methods, training, collaboration environments necessary for the Navy digital engineering across the life cycle. She has served as the acting technical director for Naval Undersea Warfare Center, Newport Division since August 1st, 2023, and she is a recipient of the Department of Navy's Meritorious Civilian Service Award. So with that, Marie, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So Dr. Seidel wanted me to have his sincerest apologies to the audience for inciting the riot at the bakery this morning, which if anybody went, figured out it was closed. So good morning, Stan. Thank you for that very kind introduction. Thank you also to Molly McGee for her leadership of SENEDIA. This event is well known throughout the Navy and DoD thanks to Molly, her team, her outstanding coordination, reputation, and networking abilities as we see today with all of the different colleagues from across our services. Thanks also to our congressional leadership, SecNav, the Vice Chief, flag officers, senior civilians, and industry leadership for participating today. For you to take the time out of your extremely busy schedules to be here in Newport for Defense Innovation Days is remarkable. One of the things I enjoy about this conference and others like the Submarine Technology Symposium and the NDIA Clambake coming up is the consistent messaging on the ever important context that our leadership imparts to the audience. And yesterday was an excellent example of that. Yesterday afternoon, I was talking with a colleague, and we were noting how remarkable it was that every speaker started and ended the conversation with the warfighter, our ultimate customer, and the reason we come to work and do what we do every day. And thank you for Admiral Mauger, I think he has since left, for reminding us that we are in an environment of new norms. As you may have noticed, I am not Dr. Marty Irvin. He unfortunately had to cancel, but save up all your questions for him for NDIA, as he will be a speaker there. I am thrilled to be able to fill in and hopefully give you some continued insight from the Warfare Center perspective and maybe a little bit more from the Division Newport perspective from the local area. So for those of you who don't know me, Marie Bussiere, Acting Technical Director at Division Newport currently. I've been at NUWC for 35 years and have had the privilege to work across the undersea domain with many of you sitting in the room today, government and industry partners, delivering those critical capabilities to our warfighters. I am enthusiastic and very motivated about a couple of the things that I do in my day job and have had many opportunities to speak with the SENEDIA community on those efforts in particular. So first, as an exciting new project for Dr. Seidel and DAS and RDT&E, I am the lead for the Enterprise Digital Battlespace. Yesterday, we heard from the Vice Chief and also Mr. Gerton on the importance of live virtual constructive and modeling and simulation in those environments before we get out and do the things that the Commodore talked about in the AOR and out at sea. The enterprise digital battle space brings together technical capabilities, the threat environment, the METOC environment, and provides engineers, scientists, the acquisition community, and the warfighting community, decision makers, an important environment to flesh out those ideas, from concept development all the way to, we heard the Vice Chief talk about a wargaming effort that's going on with the Naval War College. The second role I have is working for Captain Packer at Sub 4 in the area of AUKUS Pillar 2. We heard Vice Admiral Houston and Lisa Radoika talk about Pillar 1, the optimal pathway, and the work related to SSN AUKUS. And he also talked about Pillar 2 capabilities, specifically in the Undersea Working Group and its 4 lines of effort: torpedo tube launch and recovery for UUVs, subsea seabed warfare, AIML for acoustics, and lethality. So I am the U.S. lead for lethality and its 4 lines of effort. Admiral Houston yesterday talked about heavyweight compatibility, but there's also lightweight compatibility, platform defense from countermeasure perspective, and then tied up in that one, which I think will be germane to this audience, is the industrial strategy, or how we are going to invigorate the industrial base to do those sorts of things. I'm currently in the process of organizing our first trilateral summit to get at what that strategy is, so more to come on that important topic in the future. So first, we talk daily about the urgency and importance of what our community does, and it has never been so significant. Admiral Franchetti's remarks particularly hit home that topic. This decade is similar to the 1930s, and it will be the decisive decade. The undersea warfare is a critical component in our Navy and our nation's ability to counter our strategic competitors. Our adversaries are trying to establish themselves in their respective geographic areas and asserting greater influence on the world stage. China has grown exceptionally and exponentially and shows no signs of slowing down, especially in the undersea realm, as we heard our colleague yesterday talk about. And that is along with Russia. Both of these adversaries are challenging the U.S. Navy, targeting American capabilities daily, and are working to undermine our network of allies and partners. Wartime readiness is a major priority across the warfare centers, and our teams are working hard to define and implement crisis response plans and processes. We are working closely within the NUWC community to support their wartime mission areas. You may have heard NUWC talk about Clear the Pier, expeditionary maintenance, battle damage assessment and repair, mission assurance, and critical acquisition. Warfare centers are also providing critical thinking in the areas of what functions do we need to be spot on and have plans to support the warfighter. How are we assessing our capability and capacity to execute those functions? Identifying shortfalls and defining actions to overcome those shortfalls, and exercising our wartime functions during fleet exercises. There is no duty that is more important that we ensure we can stay in the fight. This is a team sport, and industry plays a major role. Together, we can be a force multiplier to support readiness, availability, modernization, and sustainment, as was talked quite a bit yesterday. The second item that has jumped out to me this week is the tremendous intellectual capital we have across the government industry team, especially in this region. And walking around the industry booths and talking to company representatives, the passion, innovative thinking, and capability is obvious. As we've also heard this week, it is imperative that the government continues to develop and refine our ability to acquire systems and systems rapidly. Knowledge sharing is premium. Here in the Newport area, we have several mechanisms to facilitate partnerships, including the Undersea Technology Innovation Consortium, OTA, and the 401 Tech Bridge, just to name 2. In my direct experience, the submarine Warfare Federated Tactical System, SWIFTUS, has employed the UTIC to get to SWIFTUS transformation, and we have funded both traditional and non-traditional industry participants to bring advanced computing technology and processes to the submarine combat system. We are starting to now see the fruits of that labor on the Virginia-class in advance of Columbia-class design. After hearing SecNav Del Toro's talk yesterday, an emphasis on cyber grows every day, and I think we heard that this morning as well from our two speakers. In many circles, cyber has become a four-letter word due to the burden that compliance brings. But the opportunity to achieve cyber resiliency is what we need to strive for, and our warfare centers are working with industry and the cyber community every day to not only design cyber protections into our modernized systems, but are also training our sailors on the waterfront on how to recognize and recover from potentially disabling intrusions to ensure that the mission can be executed. This is one area we need to double down on with our industry partners to ensure the platforms can stay in the fight. Next, I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about the NUWC warfare centers, some of our highlights and contributions to integrated deterrence. The 10 NUWC warfare centers sit in a unique position working across the entire spectrum from basic and applied research, capability prototyping, to acquisition and fleet support. The warfare centers are responsible for verifying quality, safety, and effectiveness of platforms and systems, and is our scientists and engineers who help design, develop, and field solutions for urgent operational needs. The expertise within the Warfare Center enterprise makes naval technical programs successful. The warfare centers are also a link from the technical community to our warfighters, and our ability to share knowledge with industry is a force multiplier and vital to the success of the Navy today and tomorrow. Our adversaries are challenging the Navy and targeting American capabilities. In that context, certain mission areas have increased importance, such as long-range fires, anti-surface warfare in certain environments, countering high-end parity submarines, seabed warfare, and understanding and taking advantage, again, of that environment to include METOC and the threat environments. Fortunately, we still hold a decided advantage in the undersea domain. With the collection of industry, academia, and government labs in the Northeast, many of whom are in this room, we are the epicenter of undersea technology and warfighting capability development. With this team leading the way, we can expand our undersea dominance by providing support for current systems, developing urgently needed advanced technology and capability, and providing for a technically advanced workforce for the future. As we move into this new wartime posture, the warfare centers are examining the specific roles they play, how those roles will change and expand, and preparing to execute those roles when called upon. In the role of supporting current fleet systems, the warfare centers are responsible for providing subject matter expertise and material to enable system readiness for initial deployment and repairs upon return from that deployment. While we currently support this role in peacetime, it is anticipated that many more systems and platforms will be in need of service and repair during wartime, and that surge may overwhelm the currently available workforce and inventory. This is one area where seamless collaboration across the enterprise and industry will be important to tap into the resources of the entire community to enable things like software updates to the fleet within 24 hours, remote system troubleshooting, and assisting our sailors to get their systems back up and running quickly. So let me talk just for a few seconds on some real-world examples of what the warfare centers are doing. Currently, there are multiple instances of Tomahawk remote troubleshooting and repair for real-world missions being executed, specifically by Port Hueneme and Division Newport, to include other warfare centers as well, but those being the two majors. Heavyweight torpedo shots are being successfully completed with warfare centers, again, troubleshooting and hand-carrying parts to get weapon systems back up and running. And then you may all have heard the recent Mod 4 demonstration, again, subject matter experts, Division Newport, Keyport on-site and serving as remote assistants. We recently also assisted in naval power and energy systems restoration to support Connecticut's return to home port. We're also involved in the remote troubleshooting and restoration of tactical data links to support undersea warfare command and control. Every day, Warfare Center leadership works to identify the functions that are critical to supporting fleet during wartime, to understand the implications and barriers to process improvements, and to make the necessary investments to fulfill the missions as part of our critical response planning. Many of you directly support the Warfare Centers and specifically Division Newport in these areas. As part of this effort, we are examining how contracting authority and behaviors will change in a wartime posture and how we can reduce the overall contracting timeline. That challenge goes out to industry also. Please look inward and review your own processes that could be streamlined in a wartime posture. Also, please visit the Newport booth exhibit to talk to our contracting folks about ways that industry can fully partner with the government. One example where industry is playing an important role in wartime readiness is in the heavyweight torpedo. NUWC Division Newport has been working with our industry partners to restart heavyweight torpedo production, to increase the inventory and address obsolescence, both small and large items. To date, close to 200 afterbody tail cone sections have been delivered to NUWC Keyport for integration and testing, which is directly related to the overall inventory numbers in our order of battle effectiveness. We continue to work with large and small companies to deliver additional components to support equipment. Similar to what we saw during the pandemic, the defense industrial base has experienced consolidation, supply chain issues, materials sourced from overseas, reduced capacity in our industry partners, and concerns about mentoring the next generation workforce. This Distro A environment precludes some of the deeper discussions, but focus on wartime readiness and supporting our current systems continues to be tremendously important. In addition, our shipyards are working extremely hard to make our platforms and systems available to the fleet every day. Their workload will only increase during wartime, with returning platforms needing repair. The Warfare Centers are continuously called upon to fill an urgent need for more subject matter expertise in the following areas: auxiliary propulsion and electrical, power distribution for Ford and Virginia-class networks, submarine sail mechanical, structural engineering, and combat systems, including test failure analysis and resolution for hull sensors. The Warfare Centers are looking to how they can augment the shipyard workforce with our team's subject matter expertise, and I mean the big team here in this room. To that end, we have increased our communications with NUWC 04 in the shipyards to better understand technical capabilities of both organizations and to identify shipyard resource needs and capability gaps that both the Warfare Centers and industry partners might fill. In addition to those efforts, we must also keep an eye on the future by enabling our innovative near-term solutions to urgent warfighting needs and the continuous development of that workforce. We will leverage our broad innovation ecosystem in undersea technology because right now is more important than ever. You're going to hear a lot. Wartime readiness means acting with agility and urgency. We are taking the SECNAV's challenge to grow the marketplace seriously to support those efforts by ensuring industry and academia are included when we work with the Office of Naval Research on their innovative naval prototype and future naval capability efforts, and when we work with the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, to define technology demonstration programs. We will also engage small regional businesses as we develop prize challenge topics through our tech bridge and utilizing the UTIC OTA and employing the family of systems multiple award contracts. The Warfare Centers, and specifically Division Newport, are committed to strengthening our collective partnerships in the undersea technology ecosystem in southern New England. In the recent past, Our Antex events were one of the ways to facilitate those partnerships and technology development. But in 2020, with COVID, we were forced to suspend those efforts. We are often asked about what's next for Antex, so we wanted to take this opportunity to let the community know the direction we are headed and solicit feedback on that direction. Last year in 2022, as the ability to gather personnel returned, Newport wanted to return to the original goals and establish the collaborative opportunities, but a decision was made to do it just a little bit differently. We decided to engage in smaller events, focusing on local industry partners to reignite the innovative collaboration from the working level and concentrate on establishing those longer-lasting relationships. Last summer, Division Newport held a TechBridge Blue Tech Demo Day that brought together 5 small businesses with complementary technologies in the Narragansett Bay Test Facility for a 3-day collaborative experimentation effort. This highly focused build, test, iterate, test event resulted in follow-on work between the Navy and several of the vendors, as well as partnerships between vendors. Given the success and efficiency of last year's demo day, NUWC Northeast TechBridge has planned 3 additional demo days. First, there's a demo day tomorrow with 10 vendors demonstrating a variety of technologies in water and on land in our Narragansett Bay Test Facility. In addition, in attendance will be a collection of NUWC scientists and engineers with particular interests in the technologies being demonstrated. The second will be held in October. That UXV experimentation and demo day will focus on cross-domain mission management and is expected to involve 10 to 15 businesses with relevant technologies. The third will be part of a university experimentation demo program in which 5 university teams doing research in the areas of interest to the Navy will present and demonstrate that research. This will also be a great workforce recruiting event as we're all out looking for new talent and folks that are actually doing the research in the areas. Prize challenges are another way for NUWC Northeast TechBridge to engage with industry to help solve Navy's technological challenges. In FY22, 4 prize challenges were executed involving more than 100 vendors and awarding approximately $300,000. 2 prize challenges are currently being planned around AUKUS workforce development and additive manufacturing, with additional topics being considered. Through a more focused efforts of the Northeast TechBridge, Division Newport can prioritize the most pressing technology needs of the Navy, identify and engage small businesses with cutting-edge technology, curate the acquisition workforce most interested in these technologies, and facilitate ongoing sustainable relationships and work with this critical segment of the industry. An example of what we have worked on with industry in the past through TechBridge avenues is in the area of unmanned undersea vehicles. And we see many future areas for continued collaboration with both academia and industry in the area of UUVs, such as autonomous behaviors, payload development, advanced navigation, and power and energy. Near-term opportunities for industry engagement exist through the use of something called Open AUV, which you may have heard of, a common software system for UUVs. This software system was developed by Division Newport to get away from a proprietary vehicle software that didn't provide the required flexibility needed for the integration of new systems and capabilities. Open AUV is modular, separating vehicle control and operations from autonomy and payload operations. It provides a low barrier of entry to subsystem and component providers and allows the government to integrate and evaluate their effectiveness. And if there are further questions on that, we have our experts in the room to answer any of those questions. Moving to the left side of the bridge toward basic and applied research, our continuous collaborations with local universities in meaningful research is the best way to provide that pipeline of both advanced undersea technologies and the trained workforce. I'd like to highlight 3 university collaborative efforts that have increased our university interactions exponentially and are a model for both technology and student development. The first is the National Institute for Undersea Vehicle Technologies, which is a collaboration between the universities of Rhode Island and Connecticut and Electric Boat. NUWC is currently collaborating across the 12 established undersea technology areas, including energy systems, underwater shock, advanced manufacturing, and marine hydrodynamics on 30 separate projects with 65 professors. The efforts are selected by the governance board based on technical merit, Navy relevance, and student participation. Similarly, with the University of Massachusetts in Dartmouth, we have established the Marine and Undersea Technology Research Program, which focuses on areas of strength for the university such as acoustics, cyber, and marine layer optics. NUWC collaborates with 12 professors on 8 projects, all of which have heavy student and workforce development components as well. Finally, Brown University has established a Center for Mechanics for Undersea Science and Engineering, concentrating on computational design and additive manufacturing, predictive modeling and simulation, and bio-inspired engineering and design, and consists of 9 active collaborative research projects. These collaborations expand our research base and leverage the expertise of all organizations from a technology and workforce development pipeline. This creates a foundation for continued growth of the undersea technology ecosystem in southern New England and supports all community members. In this same vein, another exciting partnership has been established between the University of Rhode Island and Flinders University in Australia. To support that partnership, NUWC has been working with Flinders to establish a secure research partnership to investigate more defense-related topics such as biofouling and autonomous vehicle operations. These international relationships are important to establish that same technology and workforce foundation across our AUKUS partners to support the future needs, as well as the program specifics that have been established. So in conclusion, we're preparing to provide increased levels of support to the fleet for current systems and capabilities. This includes ensuring both material and expertise is available when and where it is needed to keep the platforms in the fight. We are ready to respond to urgent needs for new and innovative warfighting capabilities using the vehicles and mechanism at our disposal to field as quickly as possible. And most important, and implicit in my prior comments, we are working hard to grow the expert knowledge and technology development pipeline that is the backbone of our institutional capability. For us to be successful in all of these efforts, we must include our industry partners in the onset, and we look forward to continue to grow and optimize the connective tissue that binds us. As many speakers said yesterday and again this morning, we have to pull out all the stops and do all we can now. And I just wanted to relate another really great partnership idea. Brigadier General, nice to meet you. So many years ago when Division Newport and other warfare centers instituted the Rapid Innovation Center, hackathons were all the rage. And the very first hackathon, I don't recall off the top of my head how many participants there were, but one of the winners was something called Boomers for Berries. And the folks were so excited, and it was all about hydroponic fruits and vegetables. Obviously not in Division Newport swim lane, so we partnered with our partners up the street at Natick Labs and transitioned that to something that you would do. And I think you have a story about hydroponics from 1947, so maybe you can share that with us. So thank you again for your time, and I look forward to any questions, as long as they're easy ones. Wow. All right, Dennis, I know you have a question.
Well, you kind of answered a lot of the things that I was worried about. I mean, you talked about war readiness. You talked about, I mean, this is the riskiest time for the submarine service in at least 30 years. So that's top of mind for sure. But at the same time, there are 3 new platforms coming out, plus AUKUS. There are at least 4 payloads that NUWC is going to be responsible for integrating onto those submarines. And at the same time, unmanned vehicles, surface, sub, and air are really changing the way that submarines operate. I mean, this is all happening all at the same time. I'm just wondering, is NUWC ready for this?
Yeah, so thanks for the question. And it's not only is NUWC ready for it, I think are everyone in this room ready for it? Is the enterprise ready for it? So you probably all have processes within your own organizations that take a look at what the workload is, and most importantly, prioritize that workload. A good and bad thing. I certainly think it's a good thing. Division Newport in particular has way more work than we can execute. We have hired hundreds of people over the last several years, but we continue to need more folks. So the folks we're not going to hire from the government. The folks are the partnerships within this room. So how does the government and industry partners to get ready for that? So again, partnership. I know in the past, sometimes Division Newport in this particular area has been seen as a competitor. I hope any of those thoughts from anyone in the room, that has gone away. Again, plenty of work and making sure. So you can't manufacture those folks either. And I know, industry partners are having a hard time, recruiting the talent, et cetera. So I think in the short term, we're really going to have to do a concerted effort to make sure that, as I talked about, some of those partnerships with academia, and the local, even getting down to the local STEM, vocational schools, et cetera. It's going to be so important to grow that workforce. Thanks.
Hi, Marie. Lee Silvestri. I work with Julie Caulfield's Northeast Tech Bridge. Can you share your philosophy, the philosophy of NUWC, relative to dual-use industries, adjacent technology that's been applied in the commercial sector that has an opportunity to maybe be at some stage of development to pivot into defense applications?
Yeah, thanks for that question, and thanks for pointing out working with Julie. So a couple of experts in the audience. Julie certainly is one if anybody has questions on what we're doing with the Antex. I think yesterday there was a lot of discussion as well about not only our journey from the traditional black boxes into the COTS industry, but the Commodore, I think yesterday as our last speaker, really hit the nail on the head with going after commercial dual-use technologies and how important it is to be able to get those things out to our fleet warfighters, as soon as possible. So I know all of the technical departments at Division Newport, again, working with our industry partners and our PEOs. So the philosophy would be, as much dual use as possible. Knowing that we have a different environment to operate in, so it might not be able to be used directly how industry uses it. I talked a little bit earlier about cyber and some of those other things that we have to pay attention to, but I think dual-use technology is spot on. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. I guess just logistically, so we're going to go on break till 11 o'clock, and we'll have our next speaker, so I'll be back in the room a little bit before that. So thanks, everybody.